Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to RPG Digest. Today we're going to start our first segment of the Rifter number 2. Now, just as a refresher, the way this goes is the first segment is going to be me going over the table of contents. I read the entire book. I'm going to explain it in very, very brief detail and then let you know which 2 topics or articles I will be devoting an entire segment to. So, if you want to know what's in the Rifter number 2, stick around. You're going to find out.
Role-playing games thrive in fantastic worlds and at inclusive tables that embrace these core values for the most positive gaming experience. Donate to the Wounded Warrior Project via the link in the description below to help, honor, and empower our wounded heroes. On Thursdays and Saturdays, watch Heathen Dog's Dirty Casuals play multiplayer video games over on Twitch. On Sundays and Fridays, join us for tabletop role-playing game content on both YouTube and Rumble. Finally, please take a quick moment to like this video and share it with both your friends and on social media. If you have not done so, please subscribe to Legion of Myth and activate that bell icon to receive notifications of new content. Before Heathen Dog starts, I want to go back to a comment that started way at the beginning of the stream.
Okay.
If I can scroll back that far. Yeah, I'm going to put this on here. Boop. Why Rifters though? So many actual risk books, even other source books. Rifters are the small desert fillers. Give us the actual din. He's going to. We cover many different things. We kind of
channel go back like 5 years. I've been covering Palladium on and off, mostly on the last couple of years, but for 5 years total. All right, there's dozens and dozens of actual din books to use your parlance.
And more will be coming.
Yes,
at the same time. Because Kevin was gracious enough to give me access to, I did pay for him, but I got access to all the Rifters. We kind of owe it to Palladium a little bit here to like, hey, this is what's in them, right?
And Wormwood is coming because I've never even read that book. So
I thought you did Wormwood.
I didn't do Wormwood.
Isn't that the Dimension Cat?
Oh,
whatever.
God. Okay. All right. But right now we're doing Rift number 2. So that's what we're doing. So we're going to look at all the sections and see what's what. All right. First off, it always starts with, it has always so far started with words from Kevin Zambita. Now this one is publisher and author, chats about the Rifter, keeping costs down, and weird rumors. You know, at this point he says, "Oh, the Rifter was a success for the first issue. It did really, really well. The way we keep costs down is we charge almost exactly what it costs to make materials, time, and personnel. That's how we keep costs down."
Look at how many pages. You can see it on there, right there. I mean, it's not all the pages. That's where the last one starts. But page 107. This is bigger than a lot of, some of the older source books anyway.
Right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And the weird rumors in this one was, Kevin's gonna sell to WotC. Kevin's gonna, he quit and he moved to a plastics company. You're like, what? It's just funny. Weird stuff. If you want to read it, you can read it, but it was weird stuff. And then the next article is Erick Wujcik, who is kind of continuing from the first issue, his thoughts on creating not only just an adventure, but now a campaign. Now he's talking about thinking big. Okay, so we talked about making a dungeon or a city or whatever. Now we can make a 3 adventure story arc, and then beyond that, you can make a 6 month to 1 year long huge campaign, and then after that, you think cosmic, because we have Heroes Unlimited, Aliens Unlimited, Phase World, Rifts, all that stuff. You can think cosmic now. How do you do that? He goes into his roots of computer programming to give you his example of how he does it, of creating a campaign from the top down. Meaning, what do you want to happen? Okay, how do you make that happen? Those pieces now separate themselves. How do you make these pieces? They separate themselves, and then you start the smallest and go up, and then create going up. And for him, that's easier. And if you want to read it, you want to learn his technique, then you can. And if it's easier for you, awesome. Then this was definitely worth the money. If not, then well.
I think that would be a good article to read just to see what his thoughts are and see if I can glean anything from it. Yeah.
And then we have another Knights of the Dinner Table. This one was a big one. This one was 2 pages. And for
that's a
comic strip,
that's a web comic. Yeah, that's right.
yeah, it's a comic strip format, so that's pretty big. And it was kind of funny. It was the whole thing where one guy was disillusioned with how the game master was running things. Like, I can do it, and the game master said, "Okay, go ahead and do it." And then he messes it all up. He sucks at it so bad, and then people now have more respect for the game master moving forward. That's good. And of course, the next thing is always coming attractions, and they've already come and gone.
Yeah, wow, look at how new Heroes Unlimited 2nd edition.
yeah. And Scrapers and Rifts Russia. There's like 3 Rifts Russias now or whatever.
You know, it's funny. The only world book I owned from Rifts for the longest time was Mystic Russia, and that's because Bob gave it to me back when we were playing in the 90s, because he's like, "Oh, you speak Russian. Here, I thought you'd like this book." Okay. But
there you go. Yeah.
So that book's old.
Oh, very. And then we have the Rifts Connection. Now, when I read this, I immediately, I'm reading that right now. I immediately skipped the rest of the table of contents and I just went to this section and I read it. Why? Because author and publisher Kevin Simbita explains how timelines, people, and occurrences in Heroes Unlimited, Beyond the Supernatural, and other Palladium world settings tie in to Rifts. I'm like, oh my God, is he going to actually give something to say that, Heroes Unlimited is pre-Rifts, same universe, different time? Is he going to say it? Or Beyond the Supernatural, or Heroes and Super, or Ninja Super Spies, or whatever? Is he going to say it? Spoiler alert. No. Actually, hang on. This was in.
Oh yeah, I like when you show the date of the book.
97. I think this is 97.
Well, the art was 97. I thought the books came out in 98. There's no copyright date on there?
I don't see it.
Weird. Okay.
Oh man. Well, we'll just
first printing or something. Nothing.
Don't see it.
Oh, wait,
here we go.
There it is.
99 August. Yeah. The second printing, August 99. Copyright 1998. Okay. Yep. Palladium Books. So we'll just say 98. All right. But in the Rifts Conversion Book 1, in the Beyond the Supernatural section, it says the Earth of Beyond the Supernatural can and probably should be considered Rifts Earth 100 or so years before the eruptions of the ley lines and the coming of the Rifts. I know, as the game's designer, I tend to view it this way.
Well, that's to me, that is what designer's intent to me is more important than what other people think.
Well, let's see when this book came out. 91. He changed his mind.
Oh, did he?
That's 81. Actually, copyright originally, but this book is first printing 91, November 91. And the one we're looking at is 98. So he changed his mind because he wrote both articles.
Wait, does he have an article that says, no, it's not?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's this one.
Okay,
that's this one right here. The Rifts Connection is the article says, well, it's not really. What it is now it's a whole sliders nonsense where there's so many infinite universes that are so close to yours to be indistinguishable from one another. So Beyond the Supernatural may even has Victor Laszlo, all that stuff, just like Prime Rift's timeline does. And Heroes Unlimited has Cyberworks and the same background as Cyberworks, just like Rift's timeline, but they are different dimensions.
Okay. Well, that's theoretically like saying that every table is its own alternate dimension too. Yeah, that's why Heathen Dog runs his game a little differently than I do, yada yada, right, because they're just different dimensions of the same.
Right, but he walked back on that, and I was upset. I couldn't read for a day. I was like, no, I'm pissed off. Couldn't read. All right, and then the next section is the Imp, Supernatural Rumor Monger. This is a new non-player character RCC. Basically, I wouldn't even call it an RCC. It's you can't play it. It's only for non-player characters. But Imps live forever, or the kid version of forever, whatever it is. And they're smarter than the average bear. They're smarter than humans on average. And they have eidetic memories. So this gives the idea that if you use Imps properly, they've been around, seen a lot, and memorized everything. They have information that if you can squeeze it out of them or cajole it or bribe it, it could be valuable. So this is a way to use these minor supernatural creatures in your campaign in a different way.
Okay.
They're not just like a kobold cannon fodder nonsense anymore. They're actually useful. And then it goes to Palladium Pirates. This one, I'm not a big fan. All right. I wasn't a big fan. Oh, what's that?
Just head note.
Okay.
Just head note.
I've tried to run, pirate campaigns before, and it always goes off the rails because the more the players role play pirates, the more ornery they become and the more off the rails they go.
They dive into murder hoboism pretty quickly.
Real easy. It is a slippery slope that is, has like it's basically a cliff. But what this does is it gives the idea of pirates, what they're really after, their motivations, what they would do in certain situations. So you can role play them as the game master can role play them properly as NPCs. And it gives examples of low-level crew members, medium to high-level officers, and captains, and what skills they normally have, how they normally look at the world, what's most important to them. So this is good tools for the game master to run them as NPCs and run them in a consistent fashion.
Okay.
So for that, it's good. And then we have hacking, cyberjacking, and supernatural data theft across the Megaverse. Now, this whole section is crap.
Really?
It's absolute crap. Why? Because you just turned this into first edition Shadowrun. Somebody is going to be the decker, and he's going to spend at least 30 to 90 minutes taking all of the game master's time while everyone else is doing nothing in the real-time 3 seconds that he's doing his 90-minute campaign.
Did you read? Is that how the?
Okay, I read it, and that's exactly how it works. Now, it actually gives different levels of hacking and cyber technology depending on which game system you're using. If you're using say ninjas and super spies or beyond the supernatural, it's normal hacking. It takes time. It takes time, skill, energy, and a lot of finesse, but you're still living in the same world that all the other players are living in. But when you start getting into Heroes Unlimited, Aliens Unlimited, Phase World, Rifts, then you can actually enter the cyber world, and now the time dilation has begun. You being inside the computer is now taking real world time away from everyone else, and there is no way around that. There isn't. There's none. You either hand wave it or you screw the majority of the table over. Smoke them if you got them, basically. That's it.
So it's interesting because I always thought, I agree with you in Shadowrun specifically that, once you start dealing with the decker, it's like, all right, everybody go smoke them if you got them, get a lunch, get a lunch, whatever. But I really thought that Cyberpunk did a good job of balancing them. Yeah, there were still separate things. You're basically splitting the party, but there was only so much a decker can do. And then it was like, now you're back to the other people. Then the decker moves forward, then you're back to the other people. I think it was if I remember correctly, it was a 3-to-1 ratio in Cyberpunk 2020. So the decker would do like 3 things, and then you go back, 3 things and go back, and it allowed everybody to stay engaged in the game. Somebody who knows more about Cyberpunk can verify what I'm saying there. But my point is that it's better integrated.
Yeah, I understand that. It's not as well integrated here.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, it does give interesting things depending on Heroes Unlimited powers. Like if you have alter physical structure electricity, you can actually enter a computer, physically be in it, and hack it while you're physically in it. But you don't have the help of onboard computer programs or shielding or hardening or whatever damage you take in cyberspace you're taking in real life, right? Because that's really you in there. It's not some virtual avatar. So there's stuff like that. It talks about telemechanics and how that's used, stuff like that. But it all boils down to this character is now in a different universe, and we have to deal with him because if he spends 90 minutes role playing in everyone else's world, only 3 to 5 seconds has passed.
Gotcha. Well, hopefully sometime in the future, maybe that can be cleaned up. We'll say.
I did not like it, but if you want to run a whole cyber hacking campaign, this is for you then. And then we have Wormwood, the Blood Shaman. And this is one I am going to go through next. This is segment 2. Stephen Trustram presents a delightfully gross and icky, I wouldn't say icky, but okay, optional OCC and magic for new Wormworld character he calls the Blood Shaman. Now, if you think of a Blood Shaman, what do you think he does?
I think blood magic from Earthdawn. He cuts himself or other people and gets power
both
from it.
Is true. Yes, both is true. You can tell an experienced Blood Shaman by the amount of scars on his body.
Nice.
All right. And I'm going to get into that in the next segment. So don't worry. That's what I'm doing. But the biggest segment here today.
Oh my God, it is 40 pages.
It's 40. It's 38.
Almost, yeah.
Like that. But it's about 40 pages. The Rift's Techno-Wizard extravaganza. This thing is a Techno-Wizard bonanza of awesomeness. If you're not sure about Techno-Wizards, it actually, the first couple of pages is just explaining the idea of Techno-Wizards, the benefits, the drawbacks, the reasons you would or would not want to play one. And then after that, it goes into all of the cool things you can do, make, and be as a Techno-Wizard or Techno-Wizard variant. Yes, we have several OCCs here that are Techno-Wizard variants, and Max might even like one of them, which is a Techno-Wizard Borg.
Oh, yes, I'm in. Wait a minute. Whoa. I already foresee a couple of really big possible drawbacks with that.
Of course, there's going to be drawbacks. I mean, come on, there's going to be drawbacks, but it is a different take on a Magic Borg. I mean, later on in Rift's South America, they talk about a magical Borg, stuff like that. This one is not as powerful as that, but it is significantly more powerful than a normal Borg. It is noticeably so.
So
and it uses magic.
My only question is this, because this book came out long before Ultimate Edition. Mm-hmm. Is everything in this book broken by Ultimate Edition?
I didn't compare them.
Okay, fair enough.
I was just going to stick to this book. I mean, I figured the comment section would do that for me.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. And then the last two are just continuations of the short novel from the first issue, The Siege Against Tolkeen and The Hammer of the Forge. This is a Rifts and Phase World story written by fans, and it's just continuation of that story. So if you read Rift number 1 and you read these stories and you liked it, these are the next couple of chapters of each story.
So I see, you know how much I love disclaimers. Yep. And I see The Siege Against Tolkeen. Warning, this story has strong language and violence.
It's not that strong.
I hate disclaimers. Caveat, I actually think this is an okay disclaimer, and here's why. If you buy a book on horror and you don't understand that it might have horror concepts in there,
it might be scary.
Yeah, that's on you.
Yeah, if you're just too dumb to be an adult.
Exactly. If you buy a book that that includes fantasy and don't understand that it might have witchcraft and magic in it, again, that's on you. And I have zero respect for people who have problems with this. I've literally zero respect. But my kid, I don't care. Okay. Now, the flip side of that is I'm getting a gaming book. Now, I don't have an issue with strong language. I use quite a lot of it. So I don't have any problems with strong language. But I do think this is a good disclaimer because, you're a lot of times running these games for children, and you're a lot of times, or maybe not for children, but, maybe you have, we'll just say, values that you weren't expecting that in here. So I'm actually okay with that disclaimer. Now, Heathen Dog says it wasn't that strong, so maybe it was unnecessary, but...
Yeah, well, I didn't find it that strong, but again, your mileage may vary, right? That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And that is it. That is what's in this book. And like I said, I'm going to be covering Wormwood, the Blood Shaman, and the Techno-Wizard extravaganza in the next 2 segments. So, stick around or wait a day or two, and that'll be that. So what do we have for starred comments?
Got a couple comments in here. We already talked about that one. I can unstar that. So, and Violence Sells Everything. Sadly, that hacking deal are official rules.
Yeah. Okay. That's sad. It's sad that they haven't fixed that in the last 20 years, but
maybe I've got a suggestion for folks. The Palladium site has a contact us section. Tell Palladium you want a Palladium Cyberpunk game.
Yeah. or
And
a revamping of the hacking slash cyber tourism rules.
I mean, what's the one game, if you think of a genre that doesn't exist in Palladium? The only one I can think of legitimately is Cyberpunk. So, anywho, let's Ultimate Saves Optimum comparing them. Yes, Ultimate Edition overrides much of what you're going to talk about in the extravaganza.
Well,
no.
if you run Ultimate Edition and you listen to the Techno-Wizard extravaganza and you're like, you know what, I like that better. Use it. Man.
You're the game master. Yes.
Yeah, you're the game master. You're still you can choose which version of the rules you want to play at your table. All you got to do is tell them that you're using these rules, and there you go. But if the Rift's Ultimate Edition is fundamentally better in your mind than this, then okay.
Oh, there have been debates on our Discord and even on the Palladium Megaverse Gilded server where people like, I will only run the first edition Techno-Wizard. I will only run the second edition or the Rules Unlimited Techno-Wizard. There are definitely thoughts when it comes to the Techno-Wizard. I don't know whatever gave you the impression that I didn't like it. Actually, I've always been fascinated by the Techno-Wizard. It's just literally every time I talk about it in a game that I might want to be in, no, it's OP. No, it sucks. No, it's OP. No, it sucks. No, so that's why I've kind of shied away from it, but I love it conceptually.
Okay.
And then finally, Friends 42,000 says Rifter number 2 and Rift's Ultimate Edition fit well together in his, we'll say, not so humble opinion.
He has a different opinion about the Techno-Wizard thing than everyone else, and that's fine. That's fine.
So there we go. Well, but that's good. That means, again, and I just in talking with Kevin and Sean enough, play it how you want at your table. They're into however you want to just buy their books, right? They're more than that. They want you to enjoy it. But yeah, enjoy it how you think it should be enjoyed at your table.
Yep. That is it.
Cool. Let me find the button. There it is. Subscribe, like, and share. I honestly love these overviews that you give of the book that talk about each one of these little sections, because I think it makes a great table of contents and the ability for people to find what they might be looking for.